Okay, welcome everyone to the 80th Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And today we'll be hearing from Alex on some of his systems as well as the energy systems. Mr. Keshe wants to talk about that and some other topics today. I think it's going to be an important workshop, so without further ado, let's hand it over to Mr. Keshe at the KFSSI. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Can you hear me there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, and I hope you have a wonderful day today, wherever and whenever you listen to this broadcast. Today is an important day for the Keshe Foundation, and in what about we are to release. As a lot of you know, we have been developing a technology over years that can meet the demands of what we call partially or fully energy need of the household. One of the problems in bringing old technology into working with a new technology is the interface connection. The problem with the old technology, or what you live with, you work with, as what you call electric current, it means you use the vibration of the flow, or the flow of the vibration of an electron in respect to proton in condition of whatever it vibrates within a bracket of. This, good morning, this has had its limitation, and it has caused a lot of problem in developing new technologies. In plasma technology, we don't look at a small vibration release of energy of an electron. We look at totality of the energy of an atom, what we call a plasma. For us, the most difficult part has been to explain that the energy within this is so huge that the little vibration literally counts as nothing. It took years to develop the technology. It took years to bring about in understanding and at the same time teaching to a large number of people enough to understand the work of the plasma the way we consider it. When we spoke about the application of the plasmatic tapes and then the pens, when you saw the result, your condition and connection was there was there doing something. You still don't have the trust in what it is. The problem we have in the energy, and especially in motion, when it comes to difference between the matter state and the plasma state, is showing the capability how more powerful a plasma is and how much more it can give with little effort. Originally, as I keep on saying, we saw it with the 129 Tesla at 12 watt, where the 12 watt was literally rotating the plasmas, and that's all we needed. The next step in the development of the energy interface with the present electric current, electronic system, is to show how the plasma with its power can do more with such a little supply. Here, to create a vibration as an electron, you burn fuel, you create rotation of what you call it, the rotors in a coil to create a vibration, to create by rotation of the coil, what they call the, you're okay, rotor, we bring in the kick energy to kick this electron up and down to create a flow of the energy which releases. But now, with a new understanding of the plasma, this is too cumbersome. This is absolutely not needed. It's a waste of time where we can deal with the totality and not just the vibration of the little, but the full plasma. As I've said many times, and I'll repeat it because you have to understand it, and it seems somehow it still is a puzzle to you, when we connect a unit to a plasma source, what you call Alex beads and other things which we have developed, you people in the United States make the bead, connect your system, and use 120, 110 voltage. Maybe at 50 to 160 hertz. The same material is used here in Europe or in China or different part of the world, and we plug the same thing in and we use 220, 240, again 50 to 60 hertz. Up to now, this was impossibility. If you wanted to move from one to another, you had to have different adapters. Now, because you have the plasma, you take from it what you need. So we don't need adaptation, we don't need filtering. It changes the whole ball game of energy supply and energy demand. But at the same time, we come to a new dimension. That is, we're dealing with plasma, not with electron vibration. And dealing with plasma, it means dealing with totality. It means if you consider a cell of human body is a plasma, a fish is a plasma, his part, his cells, a banana, an orange, whatever you consider, they are made of plasma. And because they are made in the atmosphere of this planet, they all have one common denominator, Mr. Cohen, which is they're all amino acid based. Wheat, the same. So what happened, now that we have access to the full package of the plasma, we can use the plasma, and according to its strength, let's say 1, 2, 3, and 4, we create what we need from the plasma, from each part of it. So we can have 1 from this part of it, 2 from this, 3 and 4. So, and then let's say we have a zinc or we have a copper. So we decide to make copper here and zinc there or whatever. Now, for the first time, man has the capability to play with totality, to manipulate totality instead of waiting for meager vibration of the electron. This is where the change comes, and this is where the change starts from today, where we not only talk about it, but from now on, we deliver a system which only releases to you plasma. This is what is called the plasma technology. We are not releasing to you a current. We are not releasing you a power supply. We call it a power supply because it has the power to deliver plasma. It's you who has to decide what systems you put inside it to get what you want from it. It is very much, if I don't damage anything, I can show you in my picture. Is it okay for me to play? I'm going to lose everything if it doesn't play. Do we have an adapter? Where is our cameraman? Can you focus it on this? Oh, he's somewhere. Focus on this, because this is important. You can see it and you can understand it. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get a system which releases plasma, and it's you from now on at each point what you want from the plasma. You want the current to run a laptop. You want a plasma section to run and produce oxygen, water, zinc, or whatever. The new plasma technology is not in the dreamland of knowing things, but in the reality of how to manipulate it in achieving what we need. What does this mean? This means from today, the ball game in respect to energy, food, materials, motion has changed. And now that we see this change, which we are the cause of it as the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and in releasing the technology, we need to inform the totality of mankind. Human race in one go has to be informed. Otherwise, we go back into the elements of one man here, one man there, back of the street dealing, selling a unit. We don't do this. We are strong, we are correct, and we know the capability of the technology, and we have proven it to be correct. So what we are doing today, from this moment on, we call for the international cooperation of the governments to bring this new technology in one go together into world society that we can all use it. As you know, Keshe Foundation, in 21st of April 2012, organized and fulfilled the meeting of the world ambassadors in Keshe Foundation headquarters in Ninov. We arranged the second World Ambassador meeting on the 6th of September of 2012. And today we announced the third World Ambassador meeting in Rome on the 16th of October. What's going to change this time is not the talk anymore. This time, every ambassador will be given a power unit to carry with him with a blueprint, the way we did with the USB sticks, back to their nations. The way each ambassador asked for a USB stick, and we gave the full patterns, now we give the end products. And the end products is very simple. Every nation, every man on this planet can produce it, and if you can't, we do it for you. This is the final product. It will look like this. It's an exact copy of what you're going to get. The only difference is you have a logo on it. The Spaceship Institute Maggrav Power System. Weighs less than a kilo and only delivers plasma. It's you who has to change it. It will have two wires coming out. One, if you want to supply, put it to the grid, and one for the load. It's you who decides how the load is going to be. You connect it to a divider, as we saw. If we can get it back in the screen, if we can't, we leave it. Or if I go this way, at least it might come in. No problem. So what happens is that, pardon? No, it hasn't got the extension here to extend this way. It's got a problem on this end. So what happens today, we are delivering this power unit to world public. And for it not to be stopped, we are organizing the following. Days before the 16th, a number of units will be carried by individuals. One to the President of the United States, President Obama. His Excellency will receive a copy, an actual working unit. They can test it in the White House. One will be flown to Tehran, to my beloved country, for His Excellency President Rouhani, by the Diplomatic Corps of Iran through the ambassadorial section. One will be carried by Arman for the President of the Republic of Armenia. One will be flown by Alex to Nigeria for the President of Nigeria. One will be flown by Benjamin to deliver to the President of Ghana. One will be taken across to Moscow for His Excellency President Putin. And one has been arranged to be delivered to His Excellency President Xi of China. So we deliver units to the presidents and to the ambassadors at the same time. This time, we don't play the game of last time, that we gave the key and we waited 2 years. Simultaneously, 2 days before or the same day, all the units which has been ordered will be dispatched from 2 locations, in Philippines and in Europe. Secondly, 1,000 units will be distributed across Philippines to the people randomly. 1,000 units will be delivered across Italy in different cities randomly to people. So this time, governments, people, and diplomats receive the same package at the same time. You have to understand that these units are plasma units. So they meet what is not manual matter state. In a coming due time to well-planned, as I explained this morning to Marco and Giovanni, we will then deliver a generator unit. Generator units will be delivered to Africa directly, because in Africa, they don't need a power unit. The power unit is where you plug your system into the grid and you take power, anything which is non-resistive for your system. Then, in the due course, we will release the power generators in Europe and across the world too. But what is important is not the energy, is the capability of these systems to deliver whatever you need with adding different units to it. With the new energy systems, by the time they'll be out before Christmas, hopefully we can deliver to you energy transfer food system. What this means is you can use the systems parallel, which is fixed to it or can be added to it, where without eating food, you can receive the energy of the food through what we call non-linked connections, in a way that you receive energy from the sun. We absorb vitamin A from the rays of the sun when it hits the earth. Now we have developed a technology that we can transfer most of the man's energy across through the system without the need to digesting it. In a coming day, today or tomorrow, Alex will explain more of this to you. I have explained to him what to do. He's done, and we announced yesterday in the teachings. So the food transfer does not become feeding one man. In a kind of disaster position, we can feed thousands of people through the same supply. These are not the dreams, these are the realities which has come with the development of the Industrial Revolution like plasma technology. The course of mankind has changed. We have no say in what is going to happen, but we can see, good morning, we can see the changes are so huge that a lot of people will have a problem to adjust to it. But the only good thing with it is we have geared up the manufacturing to 1 million units in November and December across Europe. So we meet the demand. We'll try to come, and we teach as many organizations to produce this system as fast as possible. I put a lot of effort and concentration into Africa to make sure this time Africa comes maybe faster or at least ahead of the rest of the continents in development of this technology for its use. This is paramount to me, and we see how it goes. Enough wrong has been done in Africa. Maybe this time we can correct it. So in the next, by the 16th of this month, you will receive, or you can purchase, good morning, your units this size, weighing less than 1 kilo, meeting more or less in coming months all the needs of your house. You want to power your computer, you want to power your fridge, freezers, and in a change, an addition unit to come out with it, you can use it for even resistive materials, because these units are power unit for non-resistive. And that's why we sell it as a power unit. The heating unit, which is addition to it, will be added to it in the time that we hopefully can meet by December or fall, beginning of this winter, that people can use it for energy application. It needs a evolution in development, and we are there. We have it to done, but it needs to be tested. So from now on, when you see the blue, the color of this planet, you will understand you have everything that this planet has to give you. You will not be short of anything. As this planet gives you water, energy, food, material, this blue box will do the same in the coming time. It's the color of the planet. It specifically has been chosen for this, and it will deliver plasma technology as you and the rest of humanity will develop it. We have put the first brick of the wall. It's for you to build the wall. So in the coming time, we will not speak about the current flow, how many kilowatts you need, how many kilowatts the energy system supplies. It's how much you need that you don't overuse it. I was talking past couple of days to one of the research teams. He said, "Do you know, Mr. Keshe?" I said, "Yes, what's happening?" He said, "We used to switch the light off when we went out of the room and make sure there is no electricity use." He says, "Now the whole house day and night is lit. We leave everything on because we have no worries." And I said, "This is the wrong way we are going. Don't change the habit, because it's still using the energy, but you're putting it back somewhere else." So this is what we told you. You can use as much as you can. At the beginning, it will be a mayhem. But then you're not tapping into nobody's energy. You're not using no one's energy. You're using the energy which is embedded, and it can last you for years. How long? It's irrelevant. We will price these at an affordable unit price that every man can afford. The energy unit which we promoted and we are selling, this is still be kept at the same price till we decide the final price of this. We are working closely and in synchronization with Philippines. The manufacturing in Philippines is deliberately done to make sure that it cannot be silenced or stopped in one country. Furthermore, once you come to the point trying to produce these units, as nobody else has done it before, we will provide you with everything that we make sure as fast as possible you can market it. You can go on the Keshe Foundation website through the manufacturing side. Once you register yourself as a manufacturer and you accept it, you can order, not only take up the blue plasma pattern, you can pick up the machinery which can be used. You can pick up the die casting that can be used. You can pick up even order materials that you can be provided fully. So when we open the doors after the 16th of October, you can buy a full factory for your country at the snap of a finger. Our problem is how much we can meet the demand and how we will rely on other countries to support us to do. I have already placed 20-piece order for Africa for the manufacturing of the initial system without the cast. It should be completed to meet the 16th. And once we do, literally off the line, you have a power supply. And this is what we need in Africa. In Africa, we need to be able to complete. So I've taken the first orders as a part of the backup of the Keshe Foundation to meet the need of Africa. It's for you to go back and place your orders. We supply you. We get as many casts to be manufactured, or you can produce yours. The reason we've done this is a lot of you don't have the capability to design and then find somewhere to manufacture it. then find someone who can have the machinery to do it. This way, we free mankind from the hackles of scientific development. Then you can manipulate it. Then you can do it. The estimated cost, we don't know yet. Something like 30 to 50,000 euro. That's including the cast, the system to make, and the rest. I prefer it to be around 10 to 20,000 euro. And for African nations, I have undersigned the Keshe Foundation to meet their expenses. Don't worry about it. So, what you've been waiting for as power supply does not need certification because falls under international laws, and we give personal guarantee certification according to EU standard that the system can be used and it will be marketed immediately with full cover certification. If you produce in your own countries, you have no problem because there is no standard for certification plasma technology at this moment of time. And secondly, those who do the scaremongering have no room because your body takes from the plasma what it needs, so you cannot do any harm. The change of the course is very simple. We deliver a full package technology on the 16th to world governments. At the same time, it will be distributed across 2 nations in full. That if anything they try to stop, the technology is already amongst men. We do not tell you what we plan to do beforehand and what is done, but we have made sure by the 16th a number of units are distributed across the world that there is no possibility of blocking the technology. This time, we all go the same way in harnessing the energy of a plasma. This is the way the universe works, and this is the way we shall work. Those who have made a lot of hoo-ha, now they have to bury their head in shame. More than shame. All they've done was to promote themselves on the back of the foundation to find themselves credibility, but unfortunately, they lost all credibility in what they do. So, as I said, on the 16th, at 6 o'clock in Rome, world ambassadors are invited, will be invited, and each ambassador which attends will receive a unit, a blueprint, and the only condition for receiving it is the signing of the World Peace Treaty and commitment of the nation to World Peace Map. It means we give knowledge, we give technology in exchange for peace. And that was the outline of the work of the Keshe Foundation. We have called the conference Free Energy in Exchange for Peace. We will provide you with a list of all the ambassadors, embassies, emails, and telephone numbers. It's you who have to inform your ambassadors, most probably in Manila and 100% in Rome, to attend, to receive the gift of energy freely from the foundation. You've done this before. Italians did this perfectly. That's why we're in Italy. When we did the peace conference, second peace conference in Ninove in 2012, Italian community put so much pressure on the government and the embassy that the Italian government officials broke rank and they attended the conference against the pressures from American government and NATO, that no European country and no NATO member can attend the peace conference of the ambassadors. This time is back to you to inform, send information to your ambassadors, to attend, to receive a free gift. Those who do not attend, we leave it to you to decide what their destination and what their inclination is. As I said, on their arrival, once they hand over the signed documents of the World Peace Treaty, they will receive a unit in hand with a full blueprint full instruction how to make, and full instruction how to assemble it, to produce it for the nation. You have to understand why we give this to the governments. They will lose huge amounts of income. Governments will collapse on the economical lack of finances. But always industrial revolutions have had these things. We cannot wait to be done in pieces. We are doing it in one go, in one shot, in one hit, that everybody is in the same pot. As I told you 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I was in north of Italy, where I was in a hotel, I had the Saudi prince with me in a hotel staying, and I explained to him, you better do not load any crude oil on any tankers in next 2 or 3 months, because you will have nowhere to sell it. I explained to the Saudi government officials exactly what is to come, and now they see it. I asked the prince to convey the message to Saudi government to stop taking the steps. Do not load tankers which are not going nowhere, and when the oil is out and you have not to sell it, the oil contamination of the tankers floating on the high seas is too dangerous. The implication of development and release of this technology is huge. Governments will lose revenue from energy. Governments will lose revenue on a parallel unit, which we release at the same time, where you put this unit in your car, reducing your fuel costs between 30 to 70%, will damage the income of taxes on your government. These units come in 2 forms. One power unit for the house, and one power unit for the car. And what it does, in time, the plasma technology will change the structure of the car and the behavior of the car, and I'm sure the scientists of this race will develop it to a point that we don't need to burn engine, burn any fuel. This subsidiary point for the car is and will be vital for the countries like China. The smog we see in Beijing, in Shanghai, we see in New York, we see in major cities in the world, will disappear overnight when the governments will give these units to the people to put in their car. Immediate 50%, 60% reduction in fuel consumption will change the climate instantaneously. This is why we see China, and especially a city like Tehran, which in summertime nobody can breathe anymore, to be cleaned up by the application of this technology, even though it might bring economical changes. The beauty with this change is, if you go back to 1972, when the ex-Shah of Iran increased the price of oil from $2.5 barrel a day, $2.5 per barrel, to $3.5, it created economical crisis in Europe. Hospitals had no electricity, by fuel going up by $1 over 6 months. Now we are paying $180, and now we've gone back to $40, $60 a barrel, and we don't say a thing. This time the problem is reversed. It's free energy, and all the governments will drop together in their finances. Is not choosing one or the other. The countries which have committed themselves to nuclear technology will suffer heavily if they do not block their nuclear technology in reaching plasma. The countries which have committed their nation to hundreds of, tens of billions of dollars building power stations, building dams, they'll find out they will be soon shut down. But the problem is, now the nations like Africa, which have no commitment to this line, will have no debts, and Western nations, which have committed themselves to billions of, hundreds of billions of dollars building power stations, have to service their debts for centuries, for decades to come. And in them serving their debts, allows the African and the other nations all become the same. It's a beautiful the way this technology will change. The third world nation has no death into power, and they achieve power rapidly in no time. And the first and what we call advanced nations will be busy serving the debts which they created falsely. Now they have to pay for it. Then this way we find a balance. We'll find a place where we can find equality between all nations, and as we become one nation, one planet, then we find a solution. My target, major target after Africa is India. India will be suffering heavily if we do not support this into India rapidly. Fortunately, but bright light, I have connection in India, and throughout Indian subcontinent, we will enforce delivery of these systems very rapidly. Then it'll come to the point how the human race will change the course of humanity through the use of simple plasma. You can make it out of coconut, you can make it out of a leaf. You can make it out of the most advanced materials, but the end product is all of you will create one thing, and that's a plasma. Now we have seen it. As I said many times, I've been left too long, too free to publish too much, to teach too much, that now there are enough people that they can replicate it. So the solution sits in one way. We work one nation, one planet, and from 16th of October at 6 o'clock in Rome, we will change the course of humanity by giving freely energy to the man who spends so much controlling through energy the humanity. Major oil corporations have lost their power. Major governments have no say because everybody can have everything they want. I have put people, and further will put more people in locations to teach third world nations heavily. I'm not here tomorrow, but tomorrow, as I'm in Rome, Benjamin in Ghana will make a presentation to the leaders of Ghanaian government how to build and what the technology can do. And through it, we'll teach the rest of Africa. We put Africans like Benjamin and Alex in charge of Africa because they understand the mentality and they can teach easier than we can do. This time is not an invasion by the white, for supremacy and for pressurizing and suppressing is working all together equally. We give technology to the Chinese that they take it across to their government and their nation the way you have seen they developed it. We do the same with the Indians for Indians and New Zealand people from New Zealand and South Americans for the South Americans. So the position has changed. In the next 6-12 months, we will see collapse of major organizations connected to pharmaceutical and oil industry, without a shadow of a doubt. All these monopolies for health, monopolies for energy has finished. And it's the beauty of it is the Keshe Foundation, with thousands of supporters around the world, more or less in every nation, will do it for your nation. You don't need us. We do not ask to send any money to Keshe Foundation. We do not sign any non-disclosure agreements. We do not give you secrecy agreements. We don't even sign copyright agreements. You can use the logo of the Keshe Foundation if you keep the ethos of Keshe Foundation anywhere in the world. The logo of the Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Institute, is the sign of peace, equality. It's you who have to use it the correct way. When you see the logo of the Keshe Foundation, it becomes a matter of trust in plasma technology, in understanding what it is and what can deliver. In next 3 weeks, we work heavily across the world with all the pressure we can bring on all the governments to attend the peace conference. As we said, free energy in exchange for peace is the title of the conference, and the conference is very simple. I hope We will have the pleasure of having the Iranian ambassador to Rome as the first speaker opening the session, and then we'll see the other ambassadors to follow. The problem is not race, religion, or color. The problem is how we can teach each other faster to find new developments, new technologies, because in the coming weeks, even this power unit become a child play. Because by the time we deliver to you in the coming weeks the space program that you can fly with no, what I call material, with no fuel, because you use the possibilities and the power of the plasma to find position the way the planetary system in the universe work, then you'll find out this plasma reactor power unit has been the beginning of a bigger industrial change. This is the beginning to tell the governments not only the knowledge is coming, in a few weeks' time, when you can place a system not very, very different than this in front of your house, in your car, and within minutes you can land from Africa into, let's say, the White House garden, then the governments realize something has to be done. Don't forget this time, this unit will change you in a very different way, because now you can be anywhere you like. There will be no borders. Governments will find this very, very soon. Borders are over. Legislation to separate by color, race, and diplomacy is over. It will be one diplomacy equal for everyone. Because if I don't like it, I pack my tent. Tonight I live in Africa. I don't like it. Tonight I go back and live in New Zealand. It takes me half an hour, 20 minutes to travel. And secondly, governments have no say. They have no control. You do not understand what this blue box will bring you. It'll bring absolute chaos for governments for what they have set up to control. Because with this blue box, they lost the full control. There is no control. There is no possibility to change the course of humanity, because hundreds of thousands of you already know how to build this. You will be shocked when you open the inside of it. It's so simple. I think a 5-year-old Chinese girl who made the nanomaterial in the toilet as a video they put to show how simple it is against the top scientists in the world, she will make you one of these, and she'll be free from energy for the rest of her life. We have made it so simple. You can play football with it. You can do whatever you like. There is no moving part. Whatever you like. You can even kick it. It still will work. There is no way. If you kick the earth, would it be damaged? No. It's the same thing. It is totally solid state, and the governments, as we say, will shiver in their skin when this is released. I have to tell you, a number has already been made and positioned that if anything happens, they will go public. The blueprints will be released on the internet so fast that no government can do. So it's better for governments to collaborate with us than trying to destroy it, because it cannot be destroyed. The technology stands on its own. Tomorrow morning in Rome, this will be shown to the Italian government for communication with the rest of EU to take steps. The reason we work this way with the Italian government is because we are based here, and we would like the way they have supported us up to now in protecting us and allowing us to teach and develop. We go to the next steps with the Italian authorities. So the working unit of this tomorrow morning will be in the offices of the Italian government ministers. They will see it, they can test it, they can eat it, and then the rest of the world knows we are serious. So, very simple. You can build it yourself. If you can't, we build it for you. and you pay us the rate we want, that we can give to those who cannot even afford making it. A man who earns $1 a week should have the same advantages as the man who earns 1 million a day by defrauding and all kinds of devious activities. In being able to feed himself, to have energy, to be able to travel in the freedom of the space of this planet. So what you have been waiting for, and you made a lot of waiting, and I thank a lot of you who collaborated with us to bring this to this point. The system is here. Tomorrow morning it'll be in Rome, and a number has already been made across the world, deposited in different ways, and the blueprint package is out of my hand. So what it means, if anything happens, people who we trusted automatically will go on the internet and will release the full blueprint. So stopping the foundation will have no purpose. I have traveled in past few weeks, met people, trusted people off the street, and I told them who I am, and they know what they have to do. This time, there will be no Tesla to hide, and there will be no assassination by the people who sit in Brussels. This time, we release the technology correctly in the hand of everyone, and as I said, you decide what you want to plug into this and what you want to get out of it. Food, materials, flight system, medicine, change of the position of cancer, all now is possible. It's you who have to develop it in a further way and do what we did, share it openly. I have taught enough that there are enough knowledgeable people around the world how to carry this one out. It's very simple and it's very efficient. Weighs less than a kilo. You don't need a fancy work. A coconut can be used to do the same job. So we don't need to send fancy work jobs to Africa. They can empty a coconut, they still have the reactor. So we'll see if we play with these better football than the Africans will do with a coconut. So, as I said, it's your responsibility who listen. Publish this across the internet. Every one of you get down and write to your embassies, to your ambassadors, to your government in Rome, and hopefully we confirm to Manila within the coming days that to attend the Keshe Foundation, energy, free energy in exchange for peace conference. We only allow people who have received a formal invitation to attend the meeting. You can attend the outside and be there, and if you're lucky, you might receive a unit free as a gift from the Keshe Foundation. You can go home that night and be free from the shackles of the energy for good. So, as we said, 1,000 units will be distributed across Europe on the 16th, on the 17th. 1,000 units will be distributed across Philippines for the poorest people. And every ambassador who decides to attend will have a copy, and anyone who wants to carry one to their own president can come to Italy, receive one in a sealed pack, and deliver the unit to your president, if your ambassador does not turn up. So the choice is either way, your government to accept the eventuality of the evolution of the new scientific development. It's no need to change. It's no need to be changed. You will develop it. You will add to the knowledge. That's the beauty of it. And you bring your own flavors in the distribution of the new technology. But this system, the energy system or the car system, will touch the life of every man on this planet within the next 12 months. Because we all want the free energy, we all want to have the warmth, we all don't want to work 365 days a week. More or less, we work on average 40 weeks a year for 2 weeks of holidays for somebody if he's generous enough to give us. But we have to do it because we need to feed our children, we need to warm the place, and we need a shelter to live. In a coming time, these units will show you how you can make yourself shelter. You don't need to spend 1 million, 500,000, 200,000 for a 40-meter square building just to have to call home. The game has changed, and as we said, we are delivering all the commitments we made, all the orders which has come through to the Keshe Foundation on the 16th, simultaneously around the world. So it means all the units, all the energy units, all the car units which you have ordered and you're ordering will be delivered on that day. Now the game is yours. The people in the background of Keshe Foundation have started the process of inviting the ambassadors. Hopefully, we will hold simultaneous conferences in 2 or 3 nations at that time. But at the same time, the purpose is to achieve world peace, to destroying the old and bringing the past, which has been unjust, equal to a new balance. I've done my job. I have delivered the technology and a working unit. Tomorrow morning, the Italian government will receive a full working unit in their hand to see. As we are in Italy, we stay loyal to the nation. In turn, units will be flown, as I said, to 7 to 10 destinations to the presidents live. And in turn, we expect you to support the foundation by cover the mass media on every aspect, the way the Italians did 3 years ago, to make sure this time is not a knowledge, it's a solid state working piece that you need to carry with yourself to your country, to your presidents, to show them that the use of a nation is over. I have no problem. I have done what I came here to do. But the problem now sits with you, how you apply this technology. Be just with it and be correct. You will enjoy it. Be unjust to it. It will punish you beyond your imagination. Do not forget that the plasma is made of your thoughts, is plasma. Your brain is made of plasma because you carry atoms and molecules are made of plasma and have the biggest fear. It reads your thoughts because it has to be in balance with the rest. You will find out the ones who have a devious thoughts will pay for it deviously. We do not look at the past. The past is finished. What we got to do is to look forward to a new horizon for humanity. Free from the shackles of energy, free from the shackles of food, free from the shackles of material to have home. Simple technology, the way the universe works, is not something especially developed, is replicating the work of the universe, and the way the universe creates energy, the way the universe creates motion, the way the universe uses material, you do the same, you will achieve the same. Medicine, the way it's been manipulated today, is finished. There will be more unemployed pharmaceutical people on the streets than anybody else. The thieves are packed out, now they have to eat what they've stolen because there's not much to eat. The same with the oil industry. people who have used the oil industry to the benefits of whatever they've done, your days are finished, your day is already finished. It's how you can put back into the society what you have taken by wrongdoing. I have no problem. It's yours to decide. Develop new ways to enhance the use, or you'll find out you fall behind. You do not need to go to work 40 hours a week just to pay for the electricity and the fuel bill that you can put the food in the mouth of your child maybe twice a day. Now you can feed him that he doesn't want to eat. You can shelter him. You can give him enough energy that you do not worry about what he does. And in time, when you understand how to convert, you can make new fabrics, new conditions, that the clothing, feeding, warming is all done through one system. I have given you the essence of creation, the work of the plasma. It's you who has to take it further. And the beauty of it is, in the past few months, I have taught a number of people around the world that they are doing it. The production in Manila, in the Philippines, is not done randomly. I have spent a lot of time. My holiday time was spent to teach them that they understand it and they can do it, they replicate it, using their understanding to be able to break the embargo. And we have done. If anything happened to us, the Philippines is so remote that nobody can do anything with it. People already can make it. And worse comes to worse, there are people who release the key, release the blue patent automatically. If the 16th of October meeting is jeopardized, on 16th of October, the keys will be released around the world. You can see the whole thing on the internet. We release it on the internet. We want you to copy it. There is no copyright. There are no circles to put around it and color it and claim it. It's free in every sense. Produce it as many as you can, understand the use of it, and make it for your neighbors who are poor, old, and needy, and give one to them. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, and we'll just look for the questions here. Is there anybody that, again, let me review with the viewers that you can put up your hand and then I can promote you to a panelist, in which case you can actually speak. We have some panelists already.
Please record this and distribute it. Do not wait for the Keshe Foundation live stream that it can be brought up by a bunch of people who are wrongdoers. Make sure you put it everywhere across the internet. Make sure, if you understand part of the nanotechnology, to teach the others that they can free them from the shackles of pain and the others. There are people who work very hard in the background to teach the basic of the knowledge. We thank you and we hope we can support you the way you have supported us in coming time.
Mr. Keshe, there is a...
Pardon?
Sorry, there is a question from someone from China. There's a couple of parts to the question, but it's a little broken and I'm not sure if it's going to make sense, and they may have to actually speak about it to make more sense about it. Basically, it says something about extension of the nano needle and the application of the structure of the two coil. Plasma 369 array structure, plasma open preference nano needles, conical field accelerates the aggregation applications. He goes on to say, I know how the structure of the box is like. I need to publish only he signed a peace agreement. I can tell them I want to share this knowledge. So they're trying to say something there, but I'm not clear on the actual message. So perhaps the name China dash and then a Chinese name can, let me see if I can promote them, or maybe they have, let me see.
Chinese Keshe Foundation groups will be supported heavily to develop this technology, to develop the power units. It's 1.5 billion, and I don't think the members of the Keshe Foundation will be able to cover the nation so rapidly. This is why we hand over the unit to the government of China, that they can organize nationally what and how they want to distribute their energy systems. So those who sit in Chinese Keshe Foundation, I know this is the organization or their company is set up, is completed this week. We hand over everything to them for them to translate and distribute across China. There will be no exclusivity. With it, we will release the new plasma health units, which will be using this system. What you do, when you get an extension, you can add to the extension from the power supply to convert the plasma to any kind of medicine, food you like. So these are all the extensions which we'll bring out in the coming days, coming months. And we hope that you will be open with us as the way we've been open with you. And as you know, because it's the new way of plasma technology, and it's been taught on the internet and it's been published, nobody can claim any patent rights on it. It does not matter how you twist and turn it, there is no way you can copy it. You cannot reserve it, you cannot close it. And in that case, you have the total freedom to develop and to deliver. I have put a lot of time and effort in making sure that this time around there is no shutting down, there is no covering up, there is no covering the patterns or technology that others cannot do, that you can abuse them. So in a very simple way, we need the governments to organize themselves out of office, not governments to still carry on the same kind of abuse. You will find out in the coming time there shall be, and there will be no Ministry of Defense, because there is nobody to fight with, because there is no resources to protect, and there are no oil fields to cover. You'll find out what you call the military and the armies will have no place in the working of this planet, as the soldiers will become soldiers to teach and to develop and to deliver. Where we will deliver our technology or will concentrate our technology will be in exploring the space in a peaceful mind that we have everything we need, and that's the next step. We will announce the 4th ambassadorial meeting, but in a way of not ambassadorial, but in a one nation conference for delivery of the space unit. Because the space unit needs the full collaboration of all the people on this planet that collectively will decide in coming weeks how and who we want to be able to live, that we keep control over not depleting this planet, unless it's a time of disaster. Making the space reactors will need no screws, does not need any material, so you don't have to worry how we're going to assemble them. We are developing them, and in time you shall see it. The process is simple. You produce materials to give tangibility to your reactor, the way as I explained in the teaching, the interaction of the fields allows the visibility and tangibility of your own skin, bone, and flesh. There is no difference. This time, the skin will be outer skin of the craft, and very much the bone will be the platform. The rest is exactly like you are made. So, now that we learn about the plasma, we see how we can use the plasma to leave this planet, knowing that using the same plasma technology, we do not need to depend on water, food from the planet, and in time will change the course of humanity to be a peaceful race in space. It's taken 40 years to bring mankind to this point for me, and I think it's not bad. After considering mankind has been for thousands of years in doldrum of fighting and killing themselves, 40 years work worth it to achieve this. We meet you on the 16th of October in Rome. Not very far from Vatican. I wonder if the Pope will attend. We still send an invitation. He's the head of a nation. Do you think Vatican citizen will send him an invitation? I think yes. It's not very far. He went to buy a pair of glasses the other day. He created chaos in Rome. He can walk to accept a package for peace. We welcome him in any shape or form, or his delegation, if they want to receive it. Any other question?
Yes. Yes, there's from Atanas and live stream. Can you open the reactor now? And there was another question that was suggesting it can't be opened because of a vacuum issue. Right? It would destroy the vacuum.
You will not know nothing about it. You can't peel my tongue.
There will be people with saws out there cutting them apart to find out, probably. But
no you got to come from longer way to be able to fool me this way.
Okay, there's somebody wondering whether you can give a demonstration. Is there a working unit that's ready to show at this point?
Yes, it will be shown to the Italian government tomorrow.
Okay.
We don't tell you where that you might turn up.
They can't handle the crowds quite yet. Gianna asks, what is the minimum load one can use to activate a car power supply system?
It has no meaning in plasma technology. You're talking about electrical currents. In plasma, there is no minimum and there is no maximum. You will see it. You will play with it.
And how long will it take to activate for those of us who have not been able to acquire watt meters?
Pardon?
I think they think that it will take time to activate the unit.
It's instantaneous.
Okay.
The minute you plug it, you use it.
Right.
And the efficiency, the way we see, over 3, 4, or 5 days increases to the maximum. You have to understand the reason why. The plasma has to be released in the internal work of your system, the house, the wiring, or whatever, that it finds the easy path through nanolayering. And as you nanolayer further and further in the structure, the faster you can use it. The structure, how to do it, the instruction is fully embedded in the package.
Okay, a question from Dave Muckman. Can the power supply power an AC, as the air conditioning unit, without a utility that would be grid wire hookup? In other words,
in the units which we will send to Africa as generators, yes. In the units which you supply as a power unit in Europe, for the time being, no.
Okay.
You can use them for anything but resistive loads.
That's the next question. Thank you.
Let me explain. Let me explain. For do you
Let me
have
just ask the question so people understand. I think you're going to lead up to why won't a heater work on the present power?
Because it's an interface of matter, not fields.
Oh, okay.
What we're trying to do is to cross that barrier in a different way. This is when it comes to heating in a matter state, you go so low that the power of plasma overlooks it the way we create it. So we have to slow the plasma from the unit that can come to the level of a matter state plasma. This is what we explained before in all the teachings, is that you've got to go back to understanding. The people who ask random questions, they have to understand what it means and why. In a great situation, when you connect your unit, what we call KFSSI unit, the unit for the plasma to release, it works on the basis of a need and demand. If you create a need, as plasma is just and correct, it tries to satisfy that need. So what happens with a frequency of 50 hertz, 60 hertz, the plasma comes to meet the negative or the positive to create its own balance. So in that point, it releases its energy. So there is no kilowatt hours involved. You can use it 20, 30 kilowatt hours, whatever, we don't know. You tell us. You don't have this limitation of you have a 10 kilowatt hour, you have a 2 kilowatt hour. It's the response of plasma to operation. With the resistive units, this does not exist because the energy has to be a step down to become matter state. Because even the matter is a plasma and in a strength like this. Matter state is here, releasing plasma in here. We have to find, in the nature, it takes thousands of years to reduce to this. We have to develop a technology that we can do it in a very rapid way in reverse. Or break it up that it can be done, or mask it that the system sees the resistor as a load with sequence and consequence. Then we can download it. At the moment, all the light, fridge freezers, anything you have in the house, except the hand drills and the heating, we can see up to 60% reduction. It's one system we have to put in. So if your heater uses 100 kilowatts, or let's say a normal 2 kilowatts, you will see on your meter 0.8, 0.9 kilowatt usage. And what we are doing, we're trying to eliminate this as well. But in eliminating this, we see an advantage in being able to excite the plasma to release more, that by releasing more, we'll overcome this too. It's just a development. We are getting there, we're testing. But in a way, 70, 80% of your bill at home will be gone. And in a very short time, it will be a total zero parity. We've seen it in our system, but we are exploring different ways to do it. So the power generators will go to Africa to start with. The Europeans have to be in the hand of the power supply till we find, or the governments find a solution economically to balance the books. I have advised a couple of nations in the past due time, the only way to bring the books back in order is very simple. The way they tax your car, they will tax property for energy, food, and the rest. Don't forget, you will not go to supermarket to shop much. You will not go to buy or consume heating. You will not tank the fuel that much. So the estimated loss of revenue for the governments from 16th of October is about 80% reduction in revenue through taxation of most of the things. Because, don't forget, when you don't buy, there is no 20%, 21% added tax on, as it is normal in the rest of the world. On the other hand, this brings a new ethos of Keshe Foundation. I don't work, I have no income, but I have everything I need. Heat, food, clothing I can make myself. As we've seen, the scientists in Washington University, they confirm they can use the gans of CO2 to make fabrics that it can be heat resistant, you can do whatever you like with it. Then I have a spare time to give to my community, to my nation. Where do I clean? Where do I look after children? Where I teach, and where I can do something because I'm bored, I have everything I want. The game has changed. Man from the time of cave has forever chased food, and then heat, and then shelter. And in fact, with a small unit like this, now you have everything. So he doesn't need to be a slave to no one, and no one shall be master. From now on, we serve because we want to, we serve because we have the pleasure to see the beauty of our work in the hand of the others. As I said to you, you can do whatever you like with it. You can kick it, you can play football with it, bring it home and connect it, it still gives you energy. It's absolute total solid state, and it's absolute total plasma technology. You put matter in there, it won't work. The more plasma you put in there, the more you get out. So let us see how we can bring mankind together through the development of this technology. This industrial revolution, this plasma revolution, has no alternative but bringing man to the equal point of respect and peace. Because everything you need, you can have. And you can even, from the plasma, make, let's say, rice, make meat, the way you like it to taste and feel. So you don't need to go to the butcher. You don't need to kill another animal to feed yourself. This is the beauty of the technology. This is a golden time for the vegetarians. You have the energy without harming no one, without killing another being to satisfy the need of your own energy. It's the same with the governments. I told you by 21st of October, or September, I will change. I'll bring a change that you will see. And all of you, the way I told you, you thought we were going to bring a satellite, we're going to bring something down to show the power. This is the satellite. And the power of nations has been brought down without shooting a single bullet. We changed the course of humanity in a correct way, in a peaceful way, without harming no one. Why should I bring a satellite down where I promote peace? Why should I stop a naval officer in his path where he could have worries for his life and his children? I've delivered my promise. It's you to deliver yours. I do not fire a single fire, but in time, we have to distract you because human race is that way. Needs to be distracted for him to see the beauty of what is about to receive. If you want, you can have. And I told you, the best thing for the government is from now on to keep me alive than poisoning to kill me, because the more I stay, the more easier system, better system they can have from my knowledge. Because what we've seen In the past few weeks, the stopping the teaching of the foundation has brought nothing but more people wanting to know, and more people doing it and spreading it. In time, we will respond the correct way. One of my main concerns today has been for past 2-3 days, as more than the technology has been the life of one of the Keshe Foundation core teams who's in hospital in Dubai. We try everything to save his life, and if we succeed, hopefully we can bring him back to be amongst us, and that's better than a unit. Any question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let's see. That answers the question about do incandescent light bulbs work on the power supply?
Pardon?
There was a question about do incandescent light bulbs work on the power supply, but that answers that. Yeah, regular light bulbs.
Yes, we have tried it.
Oh, they do?
Now, very low resistance, you don't see it much. But I warn you something very clearly. Once you plug your system, do not disturb the system. Get a blanket, buy new covers for your lights, because the system goes backwards. So once you have the system, forget about taking it off the grid. So your problem from now on is not how to keep the light on, is how to keep it dark, that it doesn't stay on all day. I think it'll be fashionable new, what do you call it, nano-coated blinds for the lights, that you don't get it lit. You will understand when you get it. You will see. You have to create the demand, and the more you create the demand, the more the system delivers, and it doesn't like to go down. We've seen that with 129. The 129 Tesla system in the Sensano, we saw the more the other systems put a demand on it, it went from 10, 20, 30, 40 to 129. But bringing it down is very impossibility because it already has made a path for itself.
Has there been any motor used to get the plasma in the power unit started, or will simple nano-coated spirals have the same effect to create the mag-grab motion?
My lips are sealed. We have told you, if you want to do it, you do it. If you want to see my system, you have to wait. I'm sure you get the same from the Philippine people. On the 16th, the beauty working with Renan and the team of the Philippine team is they are loyal, they're committed to peace the same as we do. They think and work exactly the same as the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. So you have no worries who's going to do something or show something. Even the manufacturing team here in Europe works exactly the same. They do not want to be seen, they do not want to be in front line, they just want to be able to produce, to deliver, to change the course of humanity. We have found the same type of minded people as we. Peaceful, effective, and at the same time, very, very systematic to deliver the technology. You see the people who are the ambassadors of the foundation, they behave exactly the same. Because we know we can achieve and we reach whatever we like, whenever we like, the way we like.
Mr. Keshe, there's one thing about that. For example, there's a question in the live stream. Someone said, EC says, I met somebody who invested in a small hydropower plant of less than 1 megawatt, but it has to be rebuilt after rework of the river. So what advice can I give? Will the KF release big power generators or big power generation capability? Or do you prefer to stay with a small scale individual units for the
I
home that
think
are
you haven't understood. These systems built correctly, assembled correctly in a sequential manner, can deliver 100 kilowatts, a megawatt easily. You don't have limitation. The limitation in a matter state is irrelevant, as I said from the beginning. The plasma delivers enough power that you're not worried about the vibration of kilowatts in vibration of the electron. We see, as you demand, it'll deliver. You can set up three-phase. We are testing a three-phase system for temporarily powering industrial units. It's very easy to produce three-phase system on this. It was tested yesterday, and it came exactly as we were expecting on the three-phase. We see the alternation. We see the control of the plasma. We understand the control of the plasma. What's happening here? It's a lot of women shouting. Excuse me, it's a teaching going on. 10 women, they can bring a whole nation now.
Was there a medical emergency or something?
No, it was chit-chat about their nails, I think.
Well, that's a medical emergency in itself.
It is medical for them. We gotta live with them, we can't live without them, so somehow we cope with it. I presume they do the same with us. Okay, carry on asking.
Okay, what else we have there, Key?
I think you see when he went out, he got them excited. Now his back is quiet. Carry on.
There was a question, can we use a heat pump on the power supply? If the heat pump is an inductive unit, not just a heat element like in a stove.
I don't know, we never tried it. You will try it, you tell us.
Okay.
Don't forget, our target has been to deliver energy unit through plasma technology. So now you have to find different ways of converting the plasma to a matter state at any state you like. I have developed a technology in past 24 hours that, if it's correct, soon we will test it, is that you can use these units while they're operating to create food without any additional positioning, which means you do not need to go to subdivision to create and transfer the energy. There is a way, I was up about 3 o'clock this morning trying to complete it. Hopefully we test it in the coming days, that you can use the power unit as a continuous feeder of energy at all levels wirelessly. We've done that with the power. We know how to transfer power without wire. This is something which you will come to see in the coming days. We have managed to, for example, transfer energy from the core to outside without any wire at the same strength. It doesn't diminish in the strength as we go. So in the coming weeks, you will find out there is no need for wiring. There is no need. Excuse me, can you ask the girls to keep quiet there? Oh, thanks, Scott. They're sitting at the door. I don't know, we never seen them. They just appeared out of somewhere. So what happens is that I explained this in the teaching yesterday or the day before, and it's an extension to the same teaching, but in delivering the technology. we can place this new way, if it works, which I think most does, that we can put one power unit as it is, instead of converting its plasma to energy, we transmit its plasma as power, as food. So you can put this, for example, in the middle of a village. If you want to eat, you eat. But if you want to take plasma and you have no food, hunger time, drought time, everybody lives a normal life and they take the energy from it. Don't forget, this is how you'll be fed in a space.
Mr. Keshe, there's a question about that that might be relevant that you can probably answer, which is Mika asks or suggests that for the physical body situation, fresh food is what gives the highest plasma state. And to not eat meat, it drops down the energy level, but that fresh food is what gives the highest energy.
You want the fresh plasma? No problem.
Well, this is the issue. Would be a lot of vegetarian people out there, or people that are into fresh foods, organic foods, and all this kind of thing. But what you're suggesting is a more direct way. It's a plasma to plasma interaction rather than a plasma, or rather than a matter conversion to GANs, conversion to plasma inside the body, and then back into GANs and matter to be excreted from the body. You're talking about avoiding that whole process and going direct from plasma to plasma as the way of feeding. Is that correct?
That's what we've been teaching in the past couple of weeks. Past 10 days we are back. I'm not talking about that. We taught it and we know what it should be done. And we have seen, if Alex comes on later on today, and I know he's teaching tomorrow, we'll explain this, because this was the part which was left with Alex. He was here last week. And within a matter of a couple of days, he could translate the knowledge into working unit of producing matter at any point and transferring energy without the physical energy, physical matter being consumed. This is the beauty when you work with the advanced thinking scientists like Alex in the plasma, and he sees things in a different way. We have a number of people like this around the foundation, so he will do it. It's his job. We tell you it's there. He will explain it to you. He will teach you today or tomorrow in Alex's teaching and his presentation. He'll show you exactly how you transfer energy of food from the plasma, from what you call the coils, directly as a food energy to yourself or to your body or to whatever, through water, and step further, directly absorbing it. He did a test on himself and he got himself drunk by not even touching an alcohol and just by drinking water. And as I said, we've done this before, 4 or 5 years ago. He's done the same thing through a plasma confirmation. This is not something theory. It's actually, he's there. Is Alex in the background? Do you see him, or is he still asleep? He's become like Armin. He is American time, but he lives in London. He sleeps during the day till 12, 1 o'clock, and researches during the night.
I don't see him there right now, Mr. Keshe.
Forget about the picture of him with Kevin what do you call it? Kevin Davenant, pretending to be him.
Yeah, right. Mika goes on to say that the fresh air is also important for energy, for the physical body, for energy, but also radiant energy. And he was wondering if you could speak to that at all. What is the source of radiant energy, or is that a...
Yeah, the whole breathing process is a conversion of the energy of what we call nitrogen and hydrogen in the body of the man, that it can at high level feed the blood, that it touches the emotion. If you go back to the visual teaching of the foundation some months ago on the health section, we explained that the lungs are for releasing energy for emotional part of the brain, and your intestine is releasing energy for your physical part of your brain. So when we can deliver energy for you that you don't feel hungry, it should be no problem for you to understand. We can deliver the energy as your lungs do for your emotional part. So in so many ways, the same process applies in both sides. You don't need to breathe. What's the fresh air? Fresh air is most probably a better mixture of plasma's energy that it can touch the blood to deliver its energy. Now, the system continuously sends the full spectrum. The problem, if you don't understand it, is this. Or the beauty is this. It's not the problem. Next door to us, in the same floor, we have an office where outside in the yard of this environment, we have a huge number of solar cell panels for energy production. And when you go into the room, the control room, there is a computer, and this computer does this. 0 time at night, 24 hours is calibrated. What it does, like till 9, 10 o'clock, whatever, there is no energy, it comes up and the energy goes like this and it goes. Because this is the time when the sun releases energy on the panels, you get it. The same thing goes with the body of man. In the body of man, you have a spectrum, you call it the energy, which is absorbed from your lungs. You have a spectrum, energy absorbed for your intestines. You have an energy bracket which you need to be equal to iron. You have an energy unit which you need to be in the structure of the calcium. So let's say there are different orders that you can see they are not all the same height. So now every food you eat has the energy of some of these that it can supply it. Some of them may be much stronger. Now what happened with the plasma? You have a very bad thing. The thing is, with the plasma technology from these units, you deliver a full spectrum all the time. So your body takes from it what it needs at a time it needs. Alex will tell you, I wish he was awake. He makes you laugh when he talks to you that way. I told you yesterday in the teaching. I told him, put a banana and see if the reactor will give you the taste of banana in the water. So he done, he received it, he could do it. Now what he did, being him delivering some further development, he has done with the orange, banana, and some leaves which create alcoholic behavior to make you drunk. So he will tell you.
Mr. Keshe, I hear a voice in the background here. I think.
Yeah, I'm there. I just came back.
I think a hungover voice in the background.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Come on, tell us what you've done, how you got yourself drunk with no alcohol.
I got I used I made nano ganses of fruits. And I sprayed it one after the other on the springs, and then I used it on my reactor, and then I placed a bottle of water close to it, and then when I drank it, I got drunk.
Would you like to tell us about your orange and banana experience?
Yes, it's the same thing. If you put if you get the nano of if you get the nanograms of any fruit and spray it on the spring reactor, and just place a bottle of water close to it, you're going to have the taste and then the feeling of whatever you put in it.
So what you did with the orange and what you did with banana, you have to explain to us.
Okay, I did a CO2 kit, CO2 capture kit. I placed a banana on top of it, and then I got the ganses of CO2, and then I coated the ganses, and then I sprayed the ganses on the spring reactor, and then I put a bottle of water close to it, and when I drank it, I could taste orange. I could taste any of the fruits I put in it, because I did a lot of fruit. I did banana, I did orange, I did tomatoes. The tomatoes I harvested from my plasma garden.
Have you tried your hot dog yet?
No, yeah, but I've tried rice and chicken stew.
And?
Chicken stew.
Yeah, but how did it taste?
Really good, really good. And then you feel full all day long. I think it's better. Sorry, I think it's better with cooked food. If you put cooked food, if you use cooked food, if you put cooked food on top of your bottle and place it on the reactor, it's better.
I think you better make a video of it and show us in your tomorrow's teaching.
Okay, I'm making the presentation in a way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't see it. Thank you very much for Alex.
All right, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. Alex is here with us on the 12th of October, and he flies directly to Ghana to deliver the power unit to the Ghanaian president. To Nigeria, sorry. Actually, he's supposed to go to Ghana, Nigeria. We're trying to get, if somebody goes to Ghana, he doesn't need to do, but he goes to give a unit to Benjamin and carry on to Nigeria. Unless somebody wants to take one unit to Nigeria or to Ghana?
Yeah, but I'll take it to Nigeria because I bought my ticket already. I'll take it to Nigeria, and then I spoke with Ben. He's coming to pick it up in Lagos.
Ah, okay, done. This one. Benjamin and Alex are responsible for how they decide to develop and spread the technology in Africa. And so they organize it themselves how they say to do it. If you are connected to any government, if you are close to any president or prime minister of a nation, that you can deliver a unit directly in their hand, not that you know somebody that knows someone, you can write to the Keshe Foundation and we make a facility for you to pick one up. We rely on your honesty to take it back to the patient. We do our check references in the background. We just don't give it to you just because you say so. So at the same time as the ambassador receive it, so would the government stuff. You're laughing. What about the food? Ah, plenty of kebab. We have a delegation from Armenia who have facilitated the systems to be delivered to the president of the country. And Alban is going there next week to do it on the 16th. So they're all love kebabs. Armenians and kebabs is like air and man. One cannot live without the other. I know how it feels because I have the same habit. Next question.
Mr. Keshe, if the grid goes down, does the power unit cease to function to power your home?
This is one of the questions which we're trying to address. Do we deliver a power generator or do we deliver a power unit? We have promoted a power unit. We stick to what we have. And in developing, extending to a generator, it can be done, but we have to see how the development goes, how we decide which way to release the technology. But by the 16th, it will be decided one way or another.
Do you think the power unit would mate somehow with, say, the Tesla battery or other people that use battery systems with the
Why do
solar
you
panels?
need? Why do you want to pay? I saw the Tesla
Because
battery.
when the grid goes down,
$3,500 for a battery, 10 kilowatt, if you need, and it may stay out, where you can have as much as you like for a couple of $100s.
but when the grid goes down, you need to have the backup. That's the whole problem.
Oh, don't worry, there is a way to do it. We'll show it to you.
Okay.
Spend
There's many.
€3,500 with Tesla for a backup and buy a real unit for $200, $300. I think if you're that rich, that would not harm your pocket.
No, certainly that's well within reach, I think, for most people, and those who couldn't afford it could easily be subsidized then.
The problem is not the technology. The problem is bringing the strength of the plasma down to the level that you can use it in a matter state. That's the only problem. And keeping it at that level is one of the biggest problems. Don't forget, these units do not create any heat. They are always at room temperature. They have no cooling system. They are ambient condition. So we'll see what comes up and how we deliver it. We keep to our agreement of delivering a power unit, and the generators will be primarily delivered to Africa to start with once we release. As I explained to you, there's an economical and political reason for it. You will see the collapse of the oil producing countries, the superiority in the world. But at the same time, when they lose their finances, they have to find a way to create facilities and services for their people. And this brings back a lot of changes. A lot of changes will come into operation in the coming days, in coming months, and it'll go like a wildfire. The problem will be how human race will respond to this disclosure, because it's not for one or two people or a group or a nation. It will touch the rich. Actually, it touched the abusers more than the one who've been abused, because the one who'll be abused now, they'll have a comfort of knowing they can't be abused anymore. But the abusers, now they have to live the same as the one they abused. That's the problem. It's a huge dilemma. And there was two ways to do it. After we saw the way we were restricted and closed down and controlled in Belgium, it took me 2-3 years to plan it out to do it this way. Now this way it cannot be done anymore. When we saw how they were controlling and embedding people amongst us to control that the energy doesn't go out, the energy power supply does not appear in the market with any excuses. This way, what I've done, okay, I stood a lethal poisoning, but at least the human race found its freedom, and that's what it counts. We forget? No. We forgive? No. But we live till the time comes that they have to live with their own and forgive their own crimes. It's taken a lot of planning. It's taken a lot of playing what you understand. When you go to a circus, the master is the clown, because he knows all the tricks. He's got to keep everybody happy, and he can do everything. But you look at it as a clown. But in fact, the clown is the master, because he can do everything. The guy who tames or jumps a rope, he only knows to jump a rope, but the clown knows how to jump a rope. If the lion goes out of control, how he can tame it to bring it in. So I play the clown long enough that all of you can stay alive and benefit by the technology. Now it's done. And the way it's done is spread, embedded amongst you. It cannot be destroyed. The knowledge is out, the videos are out, you know how to do it, and now you see experts like Armin, like Marco, Alex, and the others, Brennan in the Philippines, And we have people in China who are developing it very rapidly. The biggest problem will come, a lot of people think now with this technology, they're all going to be what I call the Bill Gates. But the only problem with this technology is gate is closed and there are no bills to open it. Gate of abuse is not there, and there is not enough dollar bills to pay for it to open it because everybody has the same bills and the same gate. Any other question?
I'm still laughing a bit about the possibility of the Keshe Foundation Clown School that you could open up, Mr. Keshe, and teach us all how to do it properly. Pardon me?
You know the joke about the Bill Gates and Microsoft and his wife?
Is it something we can talk about on public TV?
Yeah, no problem. It's micro and it's soft. Company.
Yeah.
That's how
it's interesting.
You'll find the computers will have no use in this technology. They are too slow. They rely on electronics and electron transfer. Plasma works at faster than the speed of light. So computer technology is already obsolete. You will see it yourself how you can control the system by thoughts. If they can put a chip in your head, then they can control you. We've seen the Chinese have shown us how they control by raising their hand to stop the thing. We've seen how by thoughts you can move an object with a CO2 gas in it. We've seen a lot of these developments, which now is free. It'll bring a lot of scientists into working a better way to develop it.
Mr. Keshe, I have a question here that's of concern to many humans that might want to go into space.
No, you don't need a spacesuit.
Well, when we start deep space exploration, due to the way we receive energy in the spaceship, the food, the water in the plasma state, in the long term, our bodies should evolve as, for example, we will not use our digestive system. What does Mr. Keshe think about that? And
you should have been in the classroom yesterday or the day before. We thought what's going to happen. We explained, we know this happens. This is not the first time. It's happened to the other creatures of the universe which went through the transition. It's just adapting. It's like when you go from a hot country to a cold country, you start using jackets and blankets, and when you go to a hot country, you just throw everything away and just walk with a t-shirt. Now you live with a t-shirt, you don't need all that heavy stuff to carry. The stomach is too much and the lung is not needed. But you still, if you want to move the physicality, you need to gain some energy to be able to create the motion, the legs and the arms to feel and touch might be needed. But it depends on the entity and the evolution. You will find out when the man goes into deep space, in a given position in the universe, he finds out he doesn't need eyes because his strength of his brain is enough for him to feel his environment and feel comfortable to exist in it. And you might find the man who goes to another part of the universe, he thinks he needs 10 eyes because he needs to see everything in every direction. And they evolve. That's how we evolved. The evolution of man came through the need. And we evolve as we go into space. The real space-time has started. With this technology, every man is a spaceman. It doesn't belong to a few people who can jump in the swimming pool with the clothes and then they think they can repeat it in the space. In the coming months, you can get into a whatever you want to call it and travel into any position in the universe in coming time exactly the way you do on this planet, because the condition created inside the craft is as 1G. The floating, the weightlessness, was the game of understanding the space technology through other organizations who were frontiers for this. We learn a lot from them. And now we build on it. We don't discredit them. They've been the stepstone in development of the knowledge. We have to respect them. Organizations like NASA, Russian Space Agency, Chinese and Indians and Iranians, these are the backbone of the knowledge what they bring us. But now we've gone one step further. We've gone from a camel ride to jumbo jet in one sweep. If you look at the space technology, rocket technology is like the time man was on the back of a donkey. When you see the facilities and the freedom which the plasma gives you, it feels like you're being on the rocket. In overnight, in less than 2-3 years teaching, we achieved it. And it's taken man thousands of years to change from a donkey to a car.
In that sense, Mr. Keshe, Infinidan asks, if our country has a history of suppressing the technology and blocks the internet access, how can we obtain the blueprint?
Oh, have you seen anywhere in the world? I've traveled some 65, 70 nations in my time. From the backwards of Africa to most advanced nations. And wherever you go, you still find Marlboro cigarette. So
Yeah.
if you can get a Marlboro cigarette across, it's easier to get a package like this across too. Don't forget, the next generation of these power supplies will be the size of a CD-ROM.
And I would note also the person asking the question is using the internet to ask the question to start with. So,
so
somehow they have technology there.
Any other question?
Well, for example, Ras asks, I guess many people have this sort of question too. For remote rural countryside houses that do not have electricity, is it possible to use the Alex Beads system as a generator? And what would be the starting alternate energy source?
Don't forget, you can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. You can be remote in a space and you still will create energy the way you need it. You will find out in the coming time. I'm sure you will see it in short and less for the next 12 months. Totally new gadgets which you could not even dream of. One of them, which it will come very fast, is the heating system. Plasma heating systems which will be released will be totally done, the electric heaters and the boilers and whatever you think you do. Plasma heaters will radiate energy at the level of your thoughts, how warm or cold you want to be, and it'll heat up the whole body of you, every point the same. Doesn't matter the environment. You can walk amongst the ice and you still be 37 degrees comfortable with swimming trunks. These are far-fetched for you, but you understand when you understand the plasma technology in true sense, how it can be done.
That probably goes for cooling as well, Mr. Keshe, in terms of, I mean, people spend a amount of money for cooling, power for cooling units, for air conditioning. Mike, for example, down in Texas, it could cost $1,000 a month or something for electricity, just for cooling purposes. How would that work with plasma?
It's the same way. It works the same way. People will innovate new systems for it in the plasma, which is much cheaper, more effective, and they will teach each other how to do it, the way Keshe Foundation supporters are doing around the world. It's very easy. Put it this way, if it's a bit hard to think, look into space and see how many planets have a frozen points. And look how many planets are boiling. It's the same plasma. You have to create a condition.
Okay, we have a technical question from Guyana who asked the question before. I've been trying to activate my power supply system for more than 10 days using the electricity mains and a load of 100 watts. When I later connected to a battery and inverter, the system only seems to be draining the battery. I have a star formation and an extra reactor in the room. What could be the problem? Because I understand that the battery should remain fully charged when my system is activated.
It means you haven't understood it fully. Go back and restart.
That's
the easiest way.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. It means, this is what I said in the teaching yesterday to the knowledge seekers. Ask yourself, what is a plasma to me? What do you understand of plasma? And then put to yourself, what is your expectation of the plasma to deliver? And then find a way in what you understand and what you want to give it to you. And then you will start understanding the work of the plasma. We still carry on spoon feeding you with the knowledge, but the bowl of the knowledge, the soup is on the table. It's you who's got to actually put a spoon in and take what you need from it. As I always say, people will take from this technology according to their intelligence. We've seen a man, a barber in London, has become a leading scientist in plasma overnight by working day and night, understanding it. He doesn't need a PhD and he doesn't need to be called a professor. He is more than a professor because he can translate the knowledge, and he comes very humbly on the line and he tells you how he made the banana taste and the orange taste. If it was 6 months ago, as I said before many times, he would have been signing non-disclosure, I can make bananas, and then it would have been shoved somewhere in the back of the thing. In centuries, you would have never seen it. This is the change of the work. And it's you who have to ask the question and find answers the way the new plasma scientists do. You've seen now young generations teaching in China at the age of 7 to the teachers what the plasma is. We've seen youngsters in India, age of 18, becoming masters in part of their own work. We've seen the guy in Brazil or in Mexico spending all his time without ever divulging to no one for 2 or 3 years on GANs, how to grow plants, how to feed. And now that he can show harvest data, he has shared with us so openly. This is totally absurd compared to what is happening outside the Keshe Foundation today in respect to patent rights and copyrights. People are claiming circles in colors. And we release the energy so freely and the knowledge so freely. Confirmation of existence out of nothing but circle of life. Physicality has more meaning. Shame on that.
Mr. Keshe, I think we might have someone from the Chinese sector with a question here. It says, Sir Ming Tan, is that, do you wish to ask a question? You had your hand up there, so I promoted you to a panelist, and you can speak now. Hello? Okay, I'm not getting any sound from them.
Maybe his hand doesn't reach the microphone.
Okay, I'm not sure. There might be some issue there. I see the microphone is open and ready to go, but I'm not hearing any sound there. And
Yeah,
also
your microphone is open, but he forgets to open his microphone.
possibly, yes. You can keep trying there, Sir Mang Tan, and we'll see if we can hear you. And also there's China, the name China dash, Chinese name I can't pronounce, is also wishing, I guess, to talk. They are promoted as panelists. I'll unmute them and see if we have a voice there. Hello?
Ấy,
China, do you wish to speak? I see you're
vừa
showing
fay mà,
without hearing anything.
vừa fay mà.
Do we have a
Translator,
translator
but
from
it's
Chinese
not,
online?
sound's not coming through.
Is Max or Lisa online that they can
Maybe I've
translate?
lost my sound. Oh,
I don't. I think he's lost his sound, Mr. Keshe. Just a sec.
sorry, I lost my sound there, and I missed the
Rick.
last couple of statements. My cord fell out.
Yes, Rick. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. We're looking for a translator because we didn't hear anything else. But
Oh,
we need.
it's good I filled in the dead air time then.
Yes, that's right. It was everything normal up until the point where he spoke, and you said, "I guess he's not speaking."
I have to have more faith in the universe, despite of my cords being pulled out. Okay, so how are we that way? Are we getting any
Do we
results?
have a translator in the audience? If they can please raise their hand, then we can.
Usually Lisa is on, or Max.
I was looking for them.
Is Carly there?
Yes,
Yeah.
Carl is there. Carl, can you translate?
I'll promote to panelist, and he can have
Then
the
he can
option.
speak, yes.
Ah, they will ask the new sign. Huh? Special message. No, just a special message. The new one. Yes.
Carl, are you there? I think you might need to unmute him, Rick.
Okay, try to see if there's another question till we come back to it.
Okay, I just unmuted Carl Lee there.
Carl, can you translate for us? I'm going to say that's a no.
It seems like a no. He's having issues. Or he's busy at a factory or something there.
Can you mute him, please, Rick?
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, that didn't work. Do you have any other options, or we carry on?
We'll carry on. I'll ask for people to translate in the background, please.
Okay. Is there something you want to say there now, Mr. Keshe, or shall I ask the next question?
Ask more questions, because in questions they'll find some answers.
Right. Well, here's an interesting one. Can Mr. Keshe explain whether it is plasma when we have telepathy?
What?
Is that the way it went?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, I know.
Yeah. Is it plasma when people can read someone's thoughts, or you have a common telepathic experience?
It's the field of plasmas. If it's at the same strength than yours, then it can connect with. We have a lot of stars everywhere, but they don't connect with others. They operate because they have a different strength. As I always say, you go to a football match, 100,000 people in the stadium, you don't fall in love with none of them. And you walk down the road and you see, God knows, one person across the road, or you just see a picture and you fall in love with. Because it doesn't matter how distant they are, if the heartbeat, the strength of the magnetic field of the blood and the heart, or tissue in what we call both magnetic gravitational inertia is the same, then that's how we fall in love, because it tunes, it's the same strength. So when you become telepathic, it means you tune to their thoughts. Maybe you become telepathic with a dog and you can feel the dog, or it could be a man or a woman. We meet hundreds of thousands of people and we fall in love with one, because at that moment of time, the gravitational magnetic field of our heart, the blood which flows through it, matches theirs. And it's irrelevant how short, tall, blind, whatever they are. It's like two stars, it's twinity, and you cannot change it.
Mr. Keshe, there's a question about, can you explain a bit more about the new courses for the new 3-year students that are coming in soon?
The 3-year courses will be held on this room as where we are, and the masters and 1 year will move into a new building across the yard where they'll be given nothing but chairs and tables and one laboratory section with nothing in it. So it's their job to build. They'll not be given a screwdriver, and they will not be given a single welding machine or whatever they want, they think they need to build their aircraft. They are supposed to build the craft in understanding the work of the plasma, how they interact with plasmas, that it leads to production of the tangibility, how they can interact with the field of the plasma to give the structure. The 3-year courses will be mainly done by the knowledge seekers, which are at the level we think their knowledge is there to teach, and it'll be a very slow or a very fast development. The only thing is, with the new knowledge seekers 3 years, we will not teach you nano coating and GANs and the rest. That's taboo. We're finished with it. So from the beginning, you'll walk into the plasma, thinking plasma, working plasma. A lot of you will have a problem with it, but soon you'll walk out of it. How long it takes, we don't know. But don't forget, we are building a research center here. So people who come here, they might join the first year, but they bring in the first day something new. We immediately put into research and development. We taken over, we take credit more and more after building, just adding new developments, new research into the work of the foundation. So you might come here for a 3-year, but you might have an idea which can be used in a matter of days while you're here, that we see it. You're still a student, but in a time which are given, the way we see it. Let me explain to you our philosophy. Every man is equal to other. So we don't say who's right, who's wrong. And we were talking about it some time ago amongst here, that we do not give you a degree at the end. Your degree might be given to you in 20 years' time when you learn something from here and you develop something then from what you learned here. So you can never fail. There is no failure. Oh, this is our Chinese friend. He wants to show more. He's amazing, this guy. No, I don't know his name. This is the one in the telephone conversation. They know who it is, that we can get him down and copy all these things. That's the guy. You know what I'm talking about? In that communication, they're after to see who he is, that they can get hold of him to download these technologies.
Yeah, I have no control over this presentation. He's doing a screen share and doing all this.
Rick, are you sure there is no pattern right copies on these?
I don't know anything about this, really. I've got some parts of the presentation, I think. But...
No, we don't do that anymore.
Right, so he needs to go through a translator and start to talk about show this in a different way.
He has to sign a declaration. And
I'm not sure if this is the same document that I have or not.
Can you just please stop that screen share by taking it over?
Okay, I see. I just have to screen share. Right, thank you.
We got to be able.
I just did it there quickly. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to take control that we don't give any access to criminals to claim anything. Not a circle, not a picture.
Can you drop him a note, maybe there, Vince, or something?
Any other questions?
Okay, let's move along here. Is there any more there, Guy?
What's the time?
How are we doing for time, Mr. Keshe? We've got...
Oh, 11:23, you're not bad. We've done nearly 2.5 hours.
All right. Okay, well, there is a question. From Mika again. He asked, does Keshe look at the material polarity? Is that important in your teaching?
It's not my teaching. You look at the polarity in the plasma, then you find your answer. You need to consider which way the fields go and which way the fields come. If that's polarity to you, then you have to. It's not my teaching. You have to be logical in the way you understand the work of the plasma.
You have mentioned in the past with the initial reactors you use that polarity might flip over and change and that sort of thing. And that, I guess, seems to be true of planet Earth as well, as far as that goes.
The polarity of those days, we had to teach that people could understand. We don't call it polarity, we call it the point of entry and exit. So where do the plasmas come out and where do they go into? And in the process of where they come out till they go into, what happened to them? Where do they collide? Do they collide with a strength higher than themselves or lower? Do they get blocked or do they create a blockage? Do they lose some or do they gain some in that way? Start thinking logically about the work of the plasma. I think you'll answer most of your questions.
Okay, there's a question. Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, does the energy unit have any effect on the human body?
If you use it correctly, yes, it can feed you. It can take your pains away. It can fly you. It can do whatever you like.
That's quite an effect, all right.
We need to change much. Moment.
Okay, here's a question from Nadine who asks, if each one of us is a plasma, is it possible that each one of us acts as a reactor itself, and by being placed around the world in the right mindset, can we lift the planet out of danger zones?
Two things is wrong with your sentence. One is lifting and one is danger zone. You position it. And secondly, 7 billion people are not enough. And 7 billion too many. Depends how you want to handle it.
I think you might have to explain that last sentence a little bit more. I think I understand what you mean in the sense of perhaps one person.
One of these mysterious things and see what you can.
But then they'll ask a whole bunch of more questions on top of that. No, that was a succinct way to put it, I think, yes. Is it AC or DC?
Plasma is always one flow. It does not fluctuate.
Yes. The Keshe flying car, does it have mechanical control or mental control?
What?
Well, it's from Mika. He says the Keshe flying car, or the
Make one yourself and then you tell us. You have all the knowledge. I'm puzzled how people haven't done it yet. You have all the knowledge to do whatever you like. It doesn't fly, that's another word wrong. It positions itself with respect to gravitational magnetic field of the Earth.
And of course, there's a person that asks Hertz frequency or Hertz vibration. What frequency?
Oh, this is the problem of matter state, but you can use it to your own advantage.
Okay, there's a question. What will happen? Simple question. What will happen if you sell your house and take the unit with you after you have used it? Will the new owner get a huge power bill?
Why do you need it when you all have it? Are you that stingy you want to take $200 with you? If you sold the house, you leave it there.
We have a question from Heinrich. Is it true? Is it true? Is
So more into it today. Yeah. Just a few paragraphs. Very nice.
okay there? We have a question. Is it true the Austrian government or the ambassador did not pick up the USB stick in 2012?
I don't know. If they picked up, we announced it. We will, the same way on the forum, the people who are responsible for the invitation, as the ambassadors accept the invitation, would announce it on the forum. They'll post it. The ambassador of such a nation has accepted to attend. And if none of them do, people have it, so the governments have to follow the people. But we know from the Italian government and organizations, a number of them will attend. Actually, I was told, where is he? Some wanted to attend this week to see it. We said, no, we show it to you the same day as the rest. Don't forget, Keshe Foundation has a lot of our Keshe Foundation members in Italy have a very close connection with politicians. We enjoy their support in so many ways, as we were in North from the Northern League, and we received a lot of support from Northern League in our works, and member of the Parliament of the Northern League, and Northern League helped a lot the foundation. We work very closely with different divisions of the politics in Italy because we treat them the same.
Mr. Keshe, maybe the microphone needs some adjustment there. We're losing a bit of the sound, I think.
No, I'm sitting somewhere between two microphones.
Okay.
I'm getting old. I can't stand up for 2 or 3 hours anymore.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Teaching you a lot and getting poison has taken a lot out.
I would think so, yes. Speaking of poison, I had a question regarding what would be a method of extracting poisons out of the body with the Keshe techniques?
You have to find the strength of it and literally create the opposite, the magnet. This is what I'm considering very much regarding Brett in the hospital. What we think his condition is, but we don't know what it is till they tell us what it is, that we can do something about it. And one of the best ways of it is to create the opposite attraction strength fields.
For example, if it was some source of radioactivity that was in the body, how would you create the opposite field of that?
It's easy. You understand the strength of it and what can be done. It's like this. Always keep a magnet nearby. It's if you can see it in the picture, so I keep 2 of them that you can. They're slightly bigger. If you have a magnet, if I go further back, you can see it. We don't have a cameraman. Our cameraman is gone, but you see the shine in my hand?
Yep.
You see, that's all you need to do. Extract it. The same applies when you want to travel in space. You create gravitational magnetic field of the destination, but you force it in reverse. You increase the magnetical into the gravitational to magnetical. You lock yourself in and you approach the planet. You don't burn any fuel. Time of burning of the fuel is over, long gone. And those of you who thought NASA has stopped the jet propulsion and all the excursion to space by stopping rocket technology, because years ago they understood the work of the Keshe Foundation, but the politicians will not let them move. And I think in the coming times we will see all the space agencies will work hand in hand. Any other question?
Lorenzo asks, if our soul is a free plasma and offers full spectrum plasmatic energy, why do we need to build a separate free plasma to obtain plasmatic energy from?
You always have to find a source of energy for it to contain. You always give more than you take, and you take more than what you give. That's what you need. Otherwise, everything will be static. It's the way the plasma works. The point you have a certain strength, you lack the others, and for you to achieve the others, you give some to get some, that you become imbalanced. And the soul is exactly the same. It's made of, it's not something strange, it's made of a plasma of a given strength, but in a no-dimensional open space. One day I explained to you the work of the soul and how the souls live amongst each other and within each other. There is no jacket that they are in room number 21 and the soul number so and so is on the 5th floor. Is yours on the 2nd floor? Shall we call it a day? We're reaching nearly our 3 hours for today.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much for attending and watching this. Do not forget, please go and as of today, write to your ambassadors, write to your governments. This is your right. As the logo of the Keshe Foundation says, we are here to serve and not to be served. We can only serve if people accept the serving. It's your job as of today, in hundreds of thousands, write to every ambassador, not necessarily your country, because if you write as a Chinese to the Ghanaian ambassador or to the Japanese ambassador to attend this, they know that the China is going to have it, why not Japanese? So Japanese will come too, not to fall behind. Don't concentrate on your own nation, your own embassy. Spend what I call internet activity ambassadorial guests. Find their emails, write it to them, and explain to them, my nation will have it if you don't want your nation to be behind. And don't forget, I've done a very bad trick. I only taken a room with 100 seats, so the ambassadors cannot come and sit down. Once they get it, they're in such a hurry to go out, we have the whole auditorium free. So write down, go back on the internet, get the embassy's telephone number, what the Italians did to change one of the most advanced nations in the world to attend, write to every single one. Having this in your hand, the color blue is your right. It's you who has to decide how you use this right and how you get the right to be given to all the people on this planet, not just you. We don't have a problem in sharing knowledge. Our problem is letting people know where the knowledge is and how it can be used. And that's why we distribute the knowledge this way, the technology of it. Very simple. This is a fancy one. You want to see the Filipino one? Is a gray box. because they have a lot of gray box. They don't need to produce a new box. And it's actually a switchboard box. This will come exactly as you see it with 2 wires out of it. And these 2 wires will change the humanity. And when it comes to the car, it's only 1 wire coming out of it, not 2. So what happens is for you to push, to encourage, to advise your government that the time for change has come. If we do not take it, we fall behind. But don't forget, it's only the government which falls behind because the nationals will receive it anyway. We open all the blueprints. We are deciding to give it to factories of Keshe Foundation. If you see yourself loyal to do it and carry the emblem to Keshe Foundation without authorization, you're quite welcome. But it means our ethos. What you make as a profit, majority of it has to go to serve the others and for teaching, not just to make money out of it. Because very soon you will understand Keshe Foundation will be one of the most expensive places to buy these units. We are not ashamed of it because what we make extra allows us to research and to give you more and to give to the people who don't have to be able to have the technology. So don't go, you can buy this unit maybe for $100 from China. Understand, when you buy $100 from China, you could buy $200 from here, from your country. You have put your own people, the people you are brought up and they fed you into hunger position. This is why we are discouraging inter-country transactions. Each Keshe Foundation, each country has to supply his own boundary of the language matter, that we do not create transition of the financial supply to other points. But remember, from after 16th of October, if the Chinese do it, there will be no pollution in China, no one to die of the suffocating in the poisons of the air. The same is, if we can develop this in the right way by the Japanese, as we've done before, we can end up the problems with Fukushima. The same goes with the oil industry and what they've done, and worst thing is what has been done with the agriculture and with what we've seen with the world of medicine. Please, we'll go back over and over this next 3 weeks till the 16th of October. You like to come to Rome to be part of the change, join us. You can buy, come in.
Sorry, we just had the sound cut off here. Can't hear you. Well, maybe it's at my end. I think we just have a temporary sound issue there. It's probably about to be cured. Just at the last minute.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, that's better.
Yeah, we ran out of battery on the pocket.
It was probably a sign that it was supposed to end anyway, so.
Yeah, no problem.
I do have one last question I'd like to ask that's interesting. You probably have a quick answer.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
So what I was saying is, join us in Rome from wherever you are on the 16th. Is a Friday. Have a weekend off for you to have a time off to change the humanity. We will release the name of the position, the hotel, and we will release exactly what time we will start. It will be a short time. Hopefully we'll have masters who will address the meeting, but understand, try to ask your government, your ambassadors, to respond to the invitation which they receive in Rome. We only send invitations to the ambassadors of the nations for who represent their nations in Rome to Rome and Vatican. We will not send invitation to any other embassies. You can send your request to your foreign office asking to request your ambassador to attend the meeting, to receive the unit. But you have to understand, as I said before, giving a unit to ambassador is a courtesy. As people will be given, 1,000 units will be given across Europe on that day, which means some of you who attend the meeting might receive one. Depends how we do it, that nobody understands what we done till you receive the unit and you go home. It's done deliberately that we can spread it across Europe in a fast way. The same is done in Philippines. Let's see what we can. Thank you very much for today.
Mr. Keshe, one last question you give a yes or no answer to. Is the plasma reactor a crystal ball?
Who is dreaming? Are you awake? Good morning. Have a nice time. We'll meet you at 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
It'll be short because I have to go to Rome for tomorrow. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Yes?
I say thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank all of you. Thank the whole team in the background. And we should thank those who are working in the background how to make the event to happen.
Yes, and
actually, if you want to see it, this is how I carry it. It fits in a lady's cosmetic bag. Nobody will guess what you're carrying.
Very stylish, yes.
Very stylish. It's Italy. It's become fashionable. You walk with a reactor in your hand. We made it fashionable. We have to make reactor bags. You know, they have man bags.
Yes, that's right.
We have a reactor bag, and we walk very gently that we're carrying something good. Have a nice day. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And so ends the 80th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And as usual, thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you very much.